I'm Catherine, 69. Standing in the midst of the commotion at my grandson's graduation dinner, I watched as my daughter, in law, Vivian, crumpled to the floor like a deflated balloon. The large flat, screen TV on the far wall was still playing the damning video that had just exposed her darkest secret. It all started when Vivian decided to humiliate me in front of everyone at this elegant dinner in the Lakeside Country Club. My grandson, Leo, had just graduated from Yale Law School with a full scholarship. I was bursting with pride as he recounted how he'd made his professor tear up during his speech. But then, Vivian's cold voice cut through the celebratory atmosphere like a knife. "You embarrass me. I'm disgusted by you," she sneered, her perfectly manicured fingers gripping her wine glass so tightly it seemed ready to shatter. I'd endured her snide remarks for years, but this time, I was prepared. I'd been waiting for her to overstep, and she just had. I calmly reached into my purse, pulled out my phone, and caught the eye of our regular waiter, Tom. With a subtle nod, I set the plan in motion. The soft jazz music faded away, and the TV screen flickered to life with a different image. Vivian turned towards the screen, and the color drained from her face. There she was, in a high-definition video from 6 months ago, sitting in a lawyer's office. The lawyer's voice came through the sound system clearly. "So, you want to completely sever all ties?" "Completely," Vivian replied on the screen. "I don't want her to have any legal claim to contact or visitation. As far as I'm concerned, I never had a daughter." For months earlier, I was pruning roses in my garden when the doorbell rang. A man named Mr. Harris stood there. He was in his late 50s, wearing a well-worn brown suit and carrying a scuffed briefcase. I'd hired him 3 weeks prior after my neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, mentioned seeing Vivian at a law office downtown. It seemed odd since Vivian had never mentioned any legal matters to the family. Mr. Harris sat me down at my kitchen table and opened his briefcase. He warned me that once I saw what was in the folder, I couldn't unsee it. But I was determined to know the truth. The first document was a petition for the termination of parental rights, dated 2 years ago. Vivian had a daughter from a previous relationship named Lily. She was 25 now, working 2 jobs in Seattle to finish community college. Lily was 16 when Vivian abandoned her, leaving her in the care of an elderly aunt who passed away a year later. Lily had aged out of the foster system with no family support. Mr. Harris also told me that Lily was getting more independent, asking questions about her father and her mother's past. Vivian saw her as a liability to her new life with Leo and my son, Ethan. There was also video footage from the law office security cameras. Watching Vivian in that lawyer's office, so cold and detached as she spoke about Lily, made my blood boil. I knew I had to expose her. I hired Mr. Harris to keep an eye on Vivian and to find Lily. After the video was played at the dinner, Vivian tried to defend herself, but her excuses were weak. Ethan, my son, was in shock. He'd always been so loyal to Vivian, but the evidence was right in front of him. "You abandoned a 16-year-old?" Ethan said, his voice filled with disbelief. Vivian tried to paint Lily as a troubled teenager, but I knew the truth. I showed her a recent photo of Lily, looking tired but determined, leaving her night shift job at a convenience store. "She's been on her own for years, trying to make a life for herself," I said firmly. Ethan was starting to see through Vivian's lies, but she wasn't going down without a fight. She quickly started to manipulate the situation, calling our family members and friends, painting herself as the victim. She told them I'd been jealous of her and had hired someone to spy on her. My daughter, Emily, who lived in another state, called me in tears. "Mom, what's going on?" "Vivian said you've been trying to destroy her marriage." I tried to explain the truth to her, but I could hear the doubt in her voice. "Mom, are you sure? She said you violated her privacy." Even Mrs. Jenkins, my neighbor, started to believe Vivian's version of the story. "I heard that Lily was a handful, and Vivian was just trying to do what was best for her," she said. I was heartbroken that so many people were willing to believe Vivian's lies. But then, 2 weeks later, Lily showed up at my door. She was a bit nervous, but had a quiet strength about her. She'd found out about the investigation and had driven all the way from Seattle to understand what was going on. I told her everything about the video, the confrontation at the dinner, and how Vivian was trying to control the narrative. Lily was angry but also determined. I want my half-brother to know the truth. I don't want him to end up like me, abandoned by our mother, she said. There was a family reunion planned at Ethan and Vivian's house. I knew it would be a difficult situation, but I decided to take Lily with me. I hoped that the truth would finally prevail. On the day of the reunion, it was a gloomy, rainy day. Lily and I arrived at the house. When Ethan opened the door, his eyes widened as he saw Lily. "This is Lily, your step-daughter," I said clearly. The moment Lily stepped into the living room, the atmosphere changed completely. Conversation stopped, and everyone stared at her. Vivian froze, her face turning white. Lily spoke up bravely. "I was 16 when my mother signed away her rights. I thought she was dead for years because she paid someone to fake her death certificate." She handed Ethan a folder with all the documents, including the court papers and receipts for the fake death certificate. Vivian tried to explain, but her words fell flat. Ethan finally saw the truth. He told Vivian to leave. "You abandoned your own daughter and faked your death. I can't be with someone like you," he said. 6 months later, I'm standing in my kitchen making Sunday dinner for a larger group than I've cooked for in a long time. Lily has transferred to a local school, and Ethan is helping her with tuition. Leo has convinced Lily to move into the guest room at his apartment. The divorce was finalized quickly once Ethan's lawyer presented the evidence. Our family is closer now. We've learned to be more honest with each other and to face difficult truths. Lily calls me grandma, and the sound of her and Leo's laughter fills my house with warmth. Vivian tried to erase Lily from existence to protect her perfect image, but in the end, her cruelty brought our family closer together. Lily is the missing piece we never knew we needed. Now, I'm curious about you who've listened to my story. What would you do if you were in my place? Have you ever been through something similar?
Comment below.
And meanwhile, I'm leaving on the final screen 2 other stories that are sure to surprise you. Thank you for watching until here.